Hello, just thought I'd do a short video just in painting in progress. This is a abstract I'm working on. They kind of take on a life of their own, so I've just begun it yesterday, and it'll be a while. Sometimes I have to paint them two or three times before I'm satisfied. But anyway, just wanted to show some of my working process, and I really probably won't talk much about it. Just enjoy the painting. I hope you will, and so I'll just continue. Most of my abstracts are more of an exploratory process, just seeing what will happen. I intend to finish with a lot different color than this. This is more underpainting and just beginning the shapes and layers. I sometimes have an idea of what I want, and other times I'm just free flowing. And my main background is in more landscape and with acrylic. This is acrylic here, and landscape and oil also, and watercolor years ago. But a lot of artists eventually gravitate toward abstract, especially as they get older in their career. Just we tend to start with more traditional, just pencil and paper, really, when we're young. And you look at a lot of artists' careers. I haven't given up landscapes at all. I still love doing those. And I think it's just a matter of, if you paint many years, you want to just try something new. And I think this seems to come more in the mature years of a career, this abstract period. So that's kind of, I guess I've kind of followed that typical pattern as well. Just want something new, something a little freer. So again, I'm just trying some shapes out here, and whatever you do with acrylic and abstract, you could just keep building upon it till you find something you like. Something will appear, and sometimes it appears fast. Sometimes it's quite a while. Like I said, I've kind of painted and repainted works up to 3 times for abstract. I tend to have much more control of my landscapes. I've been doing that many years, and kind of know exactly where I'm going with those. These are a little different, although I've incorporated some of these techniques into my landscapes and vice versa. This tends to be totally, like I said, more exploratory and a little more fun, like that. That's a lot of fun if you're an artist. Maybe not for normal people, but I find that fun. Just make sure you have lots of these underneath. don't know if those will even survive the next layers, but they might, or a hint of them might. So, and that's the fun of abstract. They're really just a fun thing. Yeah, I think they're. I don't know why I like them. I don't know why anybody likes them, but I do, and people do. There's something about them. You look at them, and they're totally about nothing, and yet what's funny is people will see things in them, and that you didn't intend, and that's part of the fun of it, I think. So anyway, just kind of watch along with me. Maybe I think it's fun to watch people paint, watch people work. So maybe you will enjoy that too. So I hope so. Maybe get your hands in it involved a little too. So, like when we were kids, more of like when you're a kid and you just paint for the fun of it, and just to see what'll happen. I tend to use more basic colors in the beginning. You know, just some raw siennas. I've started with that. I've got some copper metallic paints in here. I find that fun to use some of the metallic paints with an abstract. I don't tend to use that with landscapes. Tend to use more traditional earth-like colors, and but I've been getting, work more bright colors in as I go, and but I'm never sure, you know, which I'm going to end up with. This one I kind of have a little bit of a feel where I'm going. It's I had done one that I sold, and I've had some other people say, well, they really like that. And so I'm doing something in that vein, not exactly the same painting, of course. I don't want to do that, but something in the same category. A lot of towels, a lot of paper towels. That paper product shortage and scare, that was critical for me. I was panicking, oh, I've got to have paper towels. I work with those. Abstracts too, I do a lot of just sitting and looking at it too. I enjoy that, just considering it, where next to go. Not as sure of myself as I'm proceeding, so I think about it, and just begin to just play and have fun with it, and take my time, and in the even in the middle of it, I might begin to throw in some color that is some of the brighter colors, just to see what might appear, how it might look, might inspire me to go with that color or with something else. There's some nickel azo gold, just maybe throw a little bit of that in there, just see. Sometimes thick, sometimes a thin layer. Let's see what this looks like here. When I go over other layers, I most of the time like to have that under layer dry, the layer just before. So you can see I'm kind of working down here where this is more dry. Then putting it right on top of this wet. With acrylic, it doesn't take long to dry though, so you don't have to wait long. I occasionally will mix them wet just to see if anything happens that I like. Maybe put just a little swirl of it in there just to see what might go on with that. And hit it with some water and watch it do that again. Clean brush to get back into this gold, nickel azo gold. At some point, I'll usually do a lot of just rubbing in and lifting of color instead of just always a flat color. I like to lift some of it, reveal some of the texture underneath of the canvas. And I usually, actually always, when I do an abstract, will have a pre-textured canvas that I will work with. Use some sort of product, texturing gel or paste or something like that. There's lots of products on the market you can choose from, but I like to have a texture under my abstract. Sometimes on landscapes, sometimes not, just smooth. But I do usually, I don't know if you can see that, you probably can. You can see some texturing, and that's kind of funny. Sometimes the worst that happens is what you like on an abstract, on a texture. You can see some of the underpainting paint. I don't know, I was texturing it. I was using some thicker paints to layer on before I really started the painting process. You can see some of them have split. They were so thick the paint just split as it was drying. And you know, as long as that's not like peeling off or something, if there's anything loose on it, I take that off. I don't want that on a piece that I'm gonna sell. So as long as it's stable, that's fine. Any of those little separations, it's just going to add interest to it, really. So, and then there's always the, if you're not sure where to go next, or if you're letting it dry a while, there's always the fun part of painting the edges black. That's fun because that's very easy. Here's some. Usually, I'll take a less expensive paint for those edges. Like here's a Liquitex Basics. That's kind of their economy line, and the finished, you know, more regular Liquitex. They're top grade or golden. Some of their top grade, and but for the edging, I think you know, just lay some black on it and I'll do a little of that now. It's not, you can do it at any time, but even this will be part of the painting, as I usually let let a lot of this just crawl over the edge there. It's kind of fun. It's almost like the messier you are with it, the better. Kind of the opposite of what we're taught as kids about being neat. It's like you just let it crawl over that edge, and that becomes part of the painting, part of the composition. It kind of self-frames it too. Put that on the wall, and that black edge will make it pop pretty good, stand out. And if you've got a painting, whatever type it is, landscape or abstract, if it doesn't have some sort of, if it matches a wall too much, it doesn't have some darkness on the edge of some sort, it tends to just kind of disappear, I think, on that wall. And so that's what paintings, need frames, is to help them. Not every painting, like this, won't need one. It could be framed, but they just need, traditional paintings need that frame to enhance them and to help them stand out as. And that's why every painting needs some way to help it stand out on its surface that it's hung on. But I enjoy this part too, just this edge. I'll be throwing some paint maybe on top of that as well, where it's partially shows up, but not totally. I teach at some of the local art institutes, art schools, and I teach my students that if you're a real artist, you even like to watch paint dry, and which is quite odd, but kind of enjoy seeing it dry. There you are. Sorry. I don't have a wide angle. Or I have a wide angle, but it doesn't show the painting too good, I don't think so. Just finish down here. And I won't show you the whole painting today. I guess there's a way to do these time lapse where you can you see the artists and they speed it up just real fast. I spend all my time painting, thinking about painting, not so much about technology, so I don't know how to do some of that stuff with my videos. Maybe it's real easy, but I'd rather paint, spend my time painting, and then just I'll show you a segment of this, and then come back, maybe do another video as I'm finishing it up later. And so you see, there's some things coming along here. I kind of like some things that are forming. Obviously it has, at least maybe not obviously, but in my opinion, I want to do more. If something goes too fast and too easy, I think that can't be any good. That was too fast. I gotta mess around with it and screw it up a little bit, and then save it back. Or I haven't done enough work. More over here, but you can see what I'm doing, just framing that in, giving it some real, like putting an exclamation point on the end of a sentence, just giving it some pop. And but I don't think you can see down there. So just quickly do that. Just throw that. Get that big guy up here where you can see it. Okay. Yeah, I might even do, a couple of drips more. And then even before I've decided on a color or a theme, this one I do have a final color, a lot of teal in it, aquamarine, as that's the one that I had sold. It seems to always be a popular color. I like it too, just painting with it. So that's, I think, how I'm going to end this one. But in the meantime, this middle stage, I'll be painting some over the top of this black. So I like to have some intense color, some black, and then some faded out color with another layer on top of it, maybe in sections, and just giving that, that faded area and then that very intense area just creates some movement in the piece. Tend to do that in landscapes where when I want something, to in the landscape, in the depth of it, something more bold at front to develop depth, and then as things go in the back, I will paint layers to create on top of the intense colors to wash them out a little bit, give them a feeling that they're back there. Where with an abstract, you can do that anywhere. There's no real story you're telling as far as a layer of a landscape. You're just you can have that intense and then soft right next to each other. There's nothing you're particularly trying to address as far as reality. So really that's part of the fun of it. You're a lot freer and kind of do whatever you want with it, with an abstract piece, at least the way I do. There's lots of ways to handle it. Other artists do a fine job in handling theirs other ways. So I'm just telling you, this is the way I paint. This is one way to paint. It's not the way to paint. You may be able to do something a totally different way, but it's just beautiful. So keep that up. And I'll just start playing with some colors. So I know I'm going towards some teal, so I might start introducing a little of it right now. This is almost dried out. Let's see. I can dig that out a little bit. Just put that right on there. So you can just start kind of playing with some brighter color at any time in the process. Even if that's going to go away, get painted over, you can kind of, it's part of the fun of it. The process of painting really needs to be fun for you, for the creator, or you're not going to paint as much. You might even give it up if it's not fun. So when I teach, I have two goals: teach them some professional technique and to have fun. Just painting is about having fun. It's therapeutic. It's this paint for a landscape is probably might not be any good, but for abstract, it doesn't matter if one bit of paint is thicker than the other. You can kind of do whatever you want. So just playing with that color right there, just that little bit begins to create a neat feel for it. And I think you can have a dominant color, but then in these pieces, I like to have lots of just very supporting color. Like if this was a movie, you know, you've got your star, what's the dominant story of the colors or shapes, composition, and then you got the supporting cast, just little bits here and there. So it's all art. It's all the elements coming together to create a great film or a great painting or a great book, whatever. And art is like that. It's many players involved in it. So now I'm just kind of puttering with it. Maybe a little red here and there. Here's some. There's some crimson. Maybe just a few touches of that here and there. Again, I don't think that's going to be my dominant color. A little touch of it is nice. Usually when I do have a little touch of something, I want a little bit of it, here and there. So it has some, it's not just on there one time, usually there's no technique that can't be changed. Let that drip a little, see what that does. That really shot off crooked. That's okay. Maybe a little bit there. So you see, just starting off, I'm just throwing layers on, and then as it gets kind of to an intermediate stage, I'm playing with it, and I take my time, and we're not machines. We don't just stamp them out and crank them out. There's thoughtfulness, and there's the process, the enjoyment of it. Like when you get a chance to get a great meal, you don't want to wolf it down. I'm gonna kind of savor it. I like my painting. When I paint, I savor it and enjoy it, and can't wait to get up the next day and play with it again and see what I can get. This being this blue and this naphthol crimson, kind of nice. Blue and orange are complementary colors, so maybe a little bit of orange here and there might look good. And again, even as I'm playing with this, some of this may not even survive. I may lose it as I layer. But some maybe I'll just put it back on there, or maybe just a little bits of it will survive. And you just decide those things as you go. You don't have to have a perfect plan that you have to stick with all the time. Here in Oklahoma today, we're had kind of a cool April. It's kind of cold and overcast today, so any day is a good day to stay in the paint. But I think those kind of colder, overcast days are kind of cozy, kind of the best days to paint. So if this was drier, I would like to do some layers over that. Maybe it's funny. Black, I'll use intense black on a abstract, and I don't do that on a landscape. I don't like to have such a strong black. I'll have very dark colors, but dark greens, like in trees and shadows and things. But with an abstract, I think and intense parts of black work well. They just that strength works well. Um, and I'll come back in with some white paint too, titanium white, and I'll start rubbing in some white here and there, and then take it off and leave some kind of antiquing there, and then maybe come back into it, and just go back and forth till something appears that I like. So, okay, that's good for now, and we will do some more later. Let me see if I can get this up close. Maybe you can just see some of that texture I was talking about, the colors. See some gray and some browns in there. They start to work together. Anyway, where am I? Thanks. We'll talk to you later. Where's the off switch? Here it is.